The brand new runes coming in Path of Exile 2 look literally busted and absolutely unreal for crafting, but how will the overall system feel is the true question. Grinding your games keep making more and more changes in the patch notes, and some of them are literally game-changing to every player in PoE 2. The Path of Exile 2 developers are also highly promoting this tremendous launch with free MTX for playing, free MTX for watching, and free MTX for completing some of the new challenges in Endgame. And is the big crafting nerf overblown, or is there something real going on here that we need to discuss? Hey, Exiles, Talkative Try here with another Path of Exile 2 news video, just 2 days out from the big launch of 0.5 Return of the Ancients. Grinding Your Games keeps on dropping news every single day, and I am here to gather it all and synthesize it, then ship it to you. If you enjoy the content, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below while watching it all the way through. It is the best thing you can do to help us grow. We're pushing toward that 60K mark. Let's go. First up, we have the news about runes coming in this update, and it's absolutely game-changing. They are addressing all of the pain points that I have expressed for many leagues now about this system, while adding a bunch of new powerful runes to the game and ways to utilize them in your gear in new and fascinating ways, including adding sets of brand new affixes that you can craft onto your items once runes are slotted in, allowing you to pull unique modifiers from a set of over 100 items to then slot into another similar piece of gear, and a bunch of other stuff. Let me give you some of the highlights here. They are adding runes that specifically give powers to weapon types in the game. For example, this one right here for talismans gives you 2 druidic prowess when you heavy stun a rare or unique enemy, which is huge for bear builds. Druidic prowess is a stacking buff which boosts your skill speed and your hits with spell damage to grant rage, which is nice. You have this one for crossbows, which grant your crossbows the chance to have grenades activate a second time 10% of the time. Then, we've all been complaining about how runes are sucky at low levels, including myself. Well, there are 22 new runes designed to give you giga power at low levels, including this, the Rune of the Prism. Minus 10% to max Eliras, but 20% to all elemental resistances. This is a massive power spike for the early game. However, the big question is, how rare will these runes be? That's the thing about the rune system. In practice, it's tough to deal with. In theory, it would make sense, but all these runes are random drops in the game. So I think we really have to wait and see how this will play out. Not only for these early game runes, such as the Rune of the Blossom, which adds plus 50 spirit if you slot it into your body armor, but all the runes they showed off that are busted. All these right here can be slotted into your gear to add new modifiers to said gear using Exalted Orbs and Chaos Orbs. For example, Kotla's Gloom can be put on your gloves to roll decay modifiers, which are damage over time effects. Such as the 3 right here, they are quite powerful. And this is also confirmation that you can roll multiple of these on an item with this particular rune slotted in. Then you have wild stuff like Surly's Triumph, which allows you to add 1 more suffix modifier to the gear. And it's not limited to 1, so you could socket 3 of these into body armor and potentially have 6 suffixes. However, once you socket it, it cannot be retrieved or replaced. This is some of the wild crafting stuff that, is making me excited for playing solo self-found all league, only if this stuff is attainable. That is the key. And then you have these Legacy of Aldur runes, which I mentioned, that allow you to destroy a particular unique. There's a set of 100 and rip its unique modifier and then socket it in another item of the same class. This example right here, they destroyed a Trample Toe. They ended up getting a Legacy of Trample Toe, and now they can slot this into this pair of rare boots and get one of Trample Toe's best modifiers, the busted interaction from 0.1, where you could smash ice walls and destroy everything in the game. This right here is going to open up some ridiculous options. I think this could have been one of the reasons for the Giga crafting nerf that we'll talk about now with all the brand new patch note changes. Because grinding your games wasn't going to do that slyly without adding a ton of new powerful options to craft your gear, and they showcased it right here. Now what they should have done is added that patch note and then released the Rune teaser right after that. But they didn't, and the community freaked out, I think, unjustly. Remember, the developers know more about what's coming in the release than we do. So here are the patch note updates broken down. Remember how I was freaking out how we couldn't use Verisium rune forging on unique weapons? Well, now we can. In addition to unique armor, you can bring those up to parity with higher level weapons. That was a mistake in the patch notes, and it has been fixed. Plus, now Spell Cascade is no longer limited to supporting spells you use yourself. I can practically feel the totem enjoyers like Palsteron licking their lips. Armor and evasion received tremendous buffs, including the adding of new armor applies to elemental damage and even chaos damage clusters to the passive skill tree. This is in tow with the energy shield recharge nerfs, so there should be a little bit more equality between armor, evasion, and energy shield in patch 0.5. A couple nodes did get nerfed, like the subterfuge mask, which had its effectiveness halved, but I think all the new clusters more than make up for it. Then in the DM Gazi interview, they asked why Jeweler's Orbs could not be applied to items that grant skills, and Jonathan said, yeah, we'll probably implement it in the future. I don't see why that couldn't happen, and I didn't even include it in my recap video, but he just went and had the dev team do it. So now you can use lesser, greater, and perfect Jeweler's Orbs on items with skills to increase the number of sockets on the item's granted skills, instead of needing to hunt down a higher level base of that particular item. Huge mysterious buff here. They improved the rewards offered for completing the pointless tribal medicine quest. This is the quest where you get the shark fin. So hopefully we get a skill point or something even cooler, because I did notice we have 25 skill points instead of 24 on the passive tree now. I'm guessing that killing the shark gives us one. With the removal of the expedition shops, it is confirmed that Rog, Gwenin, Danik, and Tujin are now literally non-interactable doodads in your hideout. They aren't even worth talking to anymore, and you can't even do it. This is a sad day, but I think it's kind of nice because it differentiates Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2 even more. I really hope we enjoy our new expedition buddy. A cool addition here, many Act 4 bosses can now appear in the stone circle map mechanic, where you click the stones and it summons a random map boss. So now you can just get a random shark boy in your map. Then Mark of Siphoning got a massive nerf. I'm guessing this is because everybody was using it in Pounce and just getting a free leech. Now you can only leech mana equal to 8% of your physical attack damage instead of your generic. And finally, the massive crafting change that confused, angered, and just caused a ruckus in the Path of Exile community in this otherwise well-received patch for the most part. All crafted modifiers are now guaranteed, but items can only have one crafted modifier at a time. Desecrated modifiers no longer count as crafted modifiers, but items are limited to one desecrated modifier. What in the world does this mean? Let's try to break it down. The honest to God truth is we don't have enough information about this change at all. I don't think there's any conclusion we can pull from it. We don't even know if essence modifiers are crafted modifiers. We know that alloy modifiers, the stuff that we're going to use in the new Runes of Aldur mechanic, are crafted modifiers. And now we know that desecrated mods are no longer crafted mods. But what exactly is a crafted mod? We just know so little, and I feel like we will quickly discover what's happening in the game, but everybody leapt to conclusions and started tarring and feathering, grinding your games, freaking out about the additional patch notes. And it is a little rough that they added it after the DM and Gazi interview, so they couldn't get additional clarification. And it sucks that there's still so much vagary around it in the patch notes, but we're 2 days away. We'll find out what's happening. I'm not too worried about it because it looks like we are getting a tremendous amount of power from the Rune's Elder crafting mechanic and how runes will be interplaying with everything in game. They're buffing existing runes, they're adding new powerful early game runes, and the late game runes just look cracked. So my take is, even as a solo self-found player, I don't think we have all the info, and it doesn't look as bad as many people made it out to be in that snap moment early in the morning on Monday. Now, to all the free microtransactions and armor sets and promotions Grinding Your Games is doing for Return of the Ancients. If you didn't know, starting on May 29th, you can get PoE 2 early access 50% off up until June 12th. Note, this does not mean you get all 300 MTX points. You will only get 150 store points. But the even cooler thing, in my opinion, is if you get to the Clearfell encampment, so if you beat the Miller, you get this sick tattoo character skin for all character classes in the game, completely free. And if you kill Count Geonor at any time during the entire run of Runes of Elder, which should be very easy, you get this Candlemas portal effect, which also is not too flashy and it's not too plain. I'm a big fan of the design. Do note, free to play is not for PS5. It looks like Sony had some issues there. Sony L. Then you also get free MTX for watching on Twitch. If you connect your Path of Exile 2 account to your Twitch account, I will be streaming. Remember, you get the Arbiter of Ash waypoint if you watch during the first week for 3 hours, any Twitch stream, including mine. And the second week, if you watch Twitch streams, you will get this new helmet effect, which at first I thought were kind of bleh, but if you skip ahead, it actually allows you to track how many of each monster type, say demon, beast, or whatever, you have killed in the game, which I do think is actually kind of sick. There are also 6 variations of the Wendigo crown, so that's an added customizability effect. And then if you gift 2 Twitch subscriptions to a streamer, you get this little Verisium Parasite patch, which is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Remember, I will be live starting at 12 p.m. Eastern on Friday, but the drops and the gifted stuff does not go live until 4 p.m. Eastern or League launch time. And finally, Grinding Your Games is adding one of my most requested features to the game, the challenge system from Path of Exile 1. If you are unfamiliar, all this is a completely free series of tasks or quests you need to complete, and when you complete them, you get different pieces of armor that build into a full armor set. Let me be frank here, these challenges are actually way easier than the challenges in Path of Exile 1, and there is a much smaller volume of them. There are only 8. Completing all of them should be doable by anyone who gets to endgame, but I really think what Grinding Your Games is trying to do here is not just reward the existing players who do push into endgame and all that, but they are trying to push more players, people who might just play the campaign and quit, to go all the way through to get this sick armor set, because let's be honest, a lot of us love playing faction wars. I know I do. And this motivates people to go beyond their limits, to fight the endgame bosses, to go and get all the Trials of Ascendancy, to actually identify unique items for this awesome MTX set. But I am so happy to say the MTX set is not the only thing that will be rewarded if you complete all the challenges. You are also building up this totem pole right here on the left-hand side of your screen, which is way cooler than the one in Path of Exile 1. I cannot wait to see how all these look across all the early access leagues. They have outdone themselves with this very first armor set for Runes of Elder, and this right here, I know I will be displaying it prominently in my hideout for all to see. I'll be live for League launch, and I'll have podcasts today, tomorrow, and many days after that. If you like my channel, my content, and you want to support it, make sure to come watch me on Twitch or on YouTube. If you want to see more videos, make sure like, subscribe, comment below, and I will see you in the next one or this podcast with Halcyonish above. Stay sane, exiles.